I am well and truly back, and perhaps Theo Walcott will be back to face his former club. Somehow I doubt it, because what the contract negotiations still ongoing or not ongoing, because you never hear anything about it, do you? You hear that the club wants to renegotiate his contract, and then it goes all quiet. What does that mean? Does that mean there are no meetings planned? Does that mean nothing's going on? Who knows? I'll tell you what we do know, though, is that it looks like Oxlade-Chamberlain will play, providing he's fit, and I think he always, well, I don't want to jinx him or anything, but he's a fit guy. I mean, really strong. I think he used to play rugby at his former school, so that accounts somewhat for his physique. I mean, he's a teenager. He's one of the biggest teenagers I've seen, apart from Wayne Rooney. But hopefully he won't have Wayne Rooney's weight problems or off-the-field problems, and I really don't think he will, because his father was a pro, and I think he's had all the right kind of grounding, let's say, and mentally as well as physically. So big things expected of the Ox, but let's not expect too much. He's still a young guy, and he's going to improve, so let's not heap too much pressure on his shoulders, albeit his big, broad shoulders. But anyway, we've gone 4 games without a win in the league at home. That's our worst run in 17 years. That's according to the BBC. You have to credit them for something other than getting players' names wrong. I'm still trying to work out Sir Chesney. Is it Chesney or Sir Chesney? When did he get knighted? Everyone seems to be calling him Sir Chesney now, even an Arsenal player. So I'm going to have to revise how I say it, I think, if this continues. But anyway, I was talking about Giroud until I rudely interrupted myself with my alarm. Giroud, what can I say about him other than the goalless streak? Well, there's a new song. I thought I should let you know about it. It's Chim Chimney, Chim Chimney. Who needs Van Persie when we've got Giroud? It's the next line. Then it says Lucas Podolski and Cazorla too. Notice, kind of phrased a bit differently. So then a couple of swear words. So Van Persie, because we don't need you. Good song, I think. Really good song. Van Persie obviously suffered a thigh injury in the recent international break, so a lot of Arsenal fans celebrating now. I'm not so sure I'll go along with those kind of celebrations, but yeah, we all knew it was a dot on the cards. Van Persie would get injured this season at least once, and now it's happened. So whether it's serious or not, I don't know. I haven't really paid a lot of attention to it, but yeah, for all those fans that enjoy seeing Van Persie struggle, well, perhaps that enjoyment will begin now. But meanwhile, of course, what else can I bring you on this game, the Southampton game? Abu Diaby 50-50. He's got a muscular problem. It's a minor one, but Giroud, his former boss, reckons that Diaby missed a recent international game for France because it was a smart safety measure. Whether he's got inside knowledge on that or not, we don't know. But that's what he reckons anyway. So obviously Theo possibly going to miss the game because of his virus. Fabianski out with his shoulder problem. Oh yes, with inverted commas. Those kind of rabbit ears, inverted commas, that we imported from America. Emmanuel Frimpong. Very close, but it's a long-term injury. So what that means, I don't know. That's manager speak. Jack Wilshere, kind of the same. So we were talking October, weren't we, for Jack Wilshere to come back? I suppose Frimpong, October, November. Bakary Sagna, 2 weeks away. And Thomas Rosicky is also two to 3 weeks away. Could Didier Drogba be 2 to 3 weeks away from joining us? I'm not sure, but he's not coming right now. Arsene Wenger said, at the moment, no. In my opinion, he is not free. And, of course, he's been linked with Real Madrid as well, and teaming up with his former boss there, Jose Mourinho. But he's 34, the Shanghai Shenhua hitman, who's having some problems. He's in the midst of it all, really, because there seems to be some power struggle going on. This is what we're told by all the big media companies. So I suppose we've got to go along with it and believe it. But if he hasn't been paid, yes, he can move on outside of the transfer window. So it's not completely out of the question that Didier Drogba could become an Arsenal player. I personally could see it happening, and I was probably one of the first people to flag it up as a possibility, purely because Didier Drogba likes Arsenal. He's come out and said it. He thought about joining us. I don't think the things weren't in place to make that move happen in the past, but he knows we've been tracking him a long time. He clearly knows Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger likes Drogba. He doesn't like to play against him because he's been more than more than troublesome for our defenders in the past. He's been much more than that. So it would be good to have him on our side, even though he's 34. So if a deal can be done, I reckon it will be. But with the current way we do things, I'm not really expecting a deal to be done. And when we're talking about deals, we always tend to think outgoing deals and far more likely. And so it was with consternation that I read that Barcelona had been eyeing up Thomas Vermaelen, Jack Wilshere and Abu Diaby. Well, perhaps not so much consternation about Diaby because he's got an injury record worse than Van Persie even. So if he left, I wouldn't shed many tears. In fact, I'd be surprised if my tear ducts got working at all. But Jack Wilshere, obviously, if he recovers from his long-term injury, it would be a massive blow to see him leave. And Thomas Vermaelen, clearly, it would be a huge blow if he left. A lot of people have said, of course, once somebody's made captain of Arsenal, the next thing we're going to hear is that he's on the move to another club, an arguably bigger club. But are there any bigger clubs than us? Yes, is the answer. According to Ivan Gazidis, we are 5th in the world. I think it's not just his figures, but he said, though, in terms of potential for growth, we are, in fact, the biggest club. And this is a recent Q&A that was on the Arsenal.com website, and I had a quick look at it more than once. And he said we're trying to win in style. What else did he come out with? All the normal kind of stuff, trying to not use a word that's related to the colour brown there. But we're trying to build a sustainable, not a business model, a financial model, he said, because football is not like any other business. Yes, we've heard all that before. And he said we're not going for a moment in the sun, but he said we want to emulate the likes of Manchester United, Barcelona and Bayern Munich. But obviously Manchester United, the way they've run the club, going into huge debt, but bringing in top players as and when they feel like. What about us? If that's the way to go, why have we not taken that kind of risk? But I'm not saying I do agree with Wenger to a point that just to spend is not the solution. You can throw money down the drain quite easily that way. And as far as Gazidis is concerned, Ivan Gazidis reckons that the financial fair play rules will come in, because it does seem increasingly that there is a certain amount of truth in what he's saying, that more and more clubs are in favour of it. Even Manchester United apparently in favour of it, purely to annoy Manchester City, it seems. So he reckons, anyway, Gazidis, that spending has become more rational, despite the crazy amounts being spent in the last transfer window. It was more than ever, if I remember correctly. Certainly not from an Arsenal point of view, though. And he's talking about all the great things that Arsene Wenger has done for the club, making us more efficient in our management of player contracts. Or I'm not sure if he's saying Wenger is responsible for that, but somebody is at the club, and I don't think we've been very strong in that department. Management of player contracts, when you see so many players reaching the end of their deals, and Theo Walcott being a case in point. Fabianski I'm not worried about, but there's a few players that need to be tied down to longer term contracts. We shouldn't wait until the last year, because it's a false economy in my book. Anyway, he reckons we've been strong on good talent identification. I'd agree with that mostly. Good talent development, I would agree with that, except in certain areas of the park. For instance, have we developed wingers? I don't think so. Personally, I think, sorry to say it, I think Spurs have done a better job in that way with Harry Redknapp in charge. Being a former winger himself, he's been able to improve players like Aaron Lennon. Have we improved Theo Walcott as a winger? Maybe marginally, but not enough in my opinion. So I think we've brought in wingers, generally speaking, that have been top wingers and kept him at that level. Robert Pires was a top winger when he joined. He had a rough spell at the beginning and then settled into the game in this country. Mark Overmars, another top player who came to the club and did well. That wasn't unexpected. Jose Antonio Reyes, he came as a very good player, went downhill because he couldn't settle in the UK. But you see what I mean? Have we really developed wingers at Arsenal? I'll leave that question open-ended. But, my answer to that is not really. Succession planning. Have we been good in identifying a successor for Arsene Wenger? He's 62 now. I know he's going strong at 62. He's out of contract 2014. Apparently the club want him to sign a new deal. And it's not a sentimental decision, honestly. But I'm not particularly unhappy with Arsene Wenger. I'm not, but I don't think there's been enough succession planning unless Steve Bold is being earmarked as his possible successor. Then, of course, it's a whole different ballgame. And he reckons we've been very good in keeping the dynamic in the squad and making that special something, which is teamwork, for want of a better word. I mean, I think Ivan Gazidis can really. He does a pretty good job of talking his way out of trouble and kind of not shifting blame, but he was asked some tough questions. And I thought he did a pretty good job in handling those questions. It was a lot of waffle. I should know waffle when I hear it or read it, but there was a lot of waffling going on. But overall, he seems to genuinely believe that this financial fair play, these financial fair play rules will kick in and really make a difference. And of course, our financial position is going to improve because, as he mentioned somewhere, we're at the end of the road as far as the stadium is concerned, and now we can start concluding all these deals that are going to make us one of the financial big hitters, if not the biggest hitter in the world. That could possibly happen. One thing I didn't really like was he said it's all about, when you're judging how well Arsene Wenger's done, is where you finish in the Premier League versus your overall spending. And he said it's no good doing it over one season. It's all about consistency, because he reckons it's easy to spend a lot one season and then finish high in the league. Well, I don't think that's necessarily true. Although I have looked at more in the Championship, because I saw the figures released about how much players spent on agents. Clubs spent on agents, for instance, and the clubs that spent the most were challenging for promotion. The clubs that were very reluctant to spend on agents didn't do very well, and often were facing relegation or were relegated. So financial clout does equate to success on the pitch. When I talk financial clout, I mean financial clout in terms of transfer deals. So although we do love to go on about transfers, they are important, because if you don't bring in new blood to the club, then you will stagnate. As somebody once said to me in business, if you don't try to improve all the time, you will go backwards in the end. I think that applies in a lot of walks of life. So anyway, we're trying to win in style. That was interesting. And he said it's not about individuals, it's all about the team ethos. And this succession planning, as I mentioned before, he mentioned Ian Wright was succeeded by Thierry Henry, was succeeded by Emmanuel Adebayor, was succeeded by Robin van Persie, to be succeeded by who? Olivier Giroud, perhaps. Let's hope so. So anyway, he also said that this responsible era is coming our way, and it's difficult to find good custodians nowadays. Maybe he's talking about a certain person in Uzbekistan, or I don't know if he lives there now, Usmanov, of course. So maybe he's reading from the same hymn sheet as Peter Hillwood. Certainly Peter Hillwood would hope so. I'm not so sure about me. I'd like the ball to be a bit more open to the idea of inviting Usmanov on it, and rather than saying, "Oh, I don't think his sort will fit in too well." Actually, I'm not really satisfied with that. So at the moment, we're 5th in the world. You'll be happy to hear, or not very happy to hear, because 5th doesn't mean trophies, does it? And we've got the most potential for growth. So that means, of course, if there is ever a cup for the most potential for growth, we're going to win it. So let's keep it positive, and let's hope the Arsenal can beat Southampton today. Until the next time, up the Gooners.